All right. Hello, 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 everyone. This is Linda G. Robert. You're back in the groove again, coach. I'm here to help you live your best life now so you can love what you do and to help you transform your life through traveling. One of my goals this year is to connect with fun-loving women. And I have to tell you, one of those women is Cindy Strong. So meet Cindy Strong, a love this hair wizard and salon boss who spent nearly 4 decades making folks look and feel fabulous. She wasn't just good at snipping and styling, she was a rock star mentoring and teaching others to create hair masterpieces. But, okay, something happened. But when the world changed, Cindy faced a tough choice. With tech taking center stage, Cindy hung up the hairdressing cape and dove headfirst into the digital realm. It wasn't easy, but she was determined to crack the code of online marketing. She traded hair dye for hashtags and became a whiz at helping businesses stand out in the crowded world of social media. Cindy, welcome.
Hey, hey, thanks for having me.
And
Yes.
it almost
it-
feels like I know you because we've met a couple of times here, and it really does feel like that. But I have to find out. Okay, so when did you make the decision? I can't do hairdressing anymore. I just trying to get a bit of a background there.
right. Well, it was kind of made for me, actually.
Okay.
I had been having some health issues back in 2009. I had my first hip replacement operation, and partially due to the fact that I stood on cement floors for so many years. And, yeah, the bones were just not working right. And I had had some, I don't know, people call it sciatica or something like that. So I'd had it bothering me for quite some time. When the doctor said it came from an old injury from years ago, I used to ride horses. So I think I was bucked off a few times and probably had a little bit of an injury from that. As a kid, I was pretty tough, so I just got right back on and.
Sure,
Uh,
sure.
but as the years go on, it's kind of like a football player, when they play and they're beating their bodies up, and then when they get older, a lot of things happen. They have to have parts replaced and, knees and joints and all that stuff. So I just figured that's what it was. Well, went back to work, got my life back. I was out of pain. It was wonderful for about 6 or 7 years. And then pretty soon, my other hip started to bother me a little bit. And when it started to bother me, I noticed that I was favoring it so much that I ended up getting tendonitis
Yeah,
in that foot. I kept having to go in and get cortisone shots so I could work.
yeah,
And then it just started, everything started falling apart from there. My shoulders
yeah.
got, tendonitis, and I was in a lot of pain every single day. And health wise, I mean, I've since figured this out. What is it? Cortisol? That's the name of what's
Yeah.
inside of you that, yeah.
Yeah, cortisol, the
So,
stress, yeah, that hormone.
and so I was not, the pain was not relieving. I would come home at night and literally be like a solid brick around my back. It was so tense and the muscles were so tight that I couldn't even sleep. So I wasn't getting sleep. My diet was poor. Uh, Everything about it was bad, and my doctor told me you need to cut
Mm,
down on your hours because I never said no to anybody. I mean, I had a
wow.
huge clientele. I lived in a small
Sure.
town. Everybody knew me. I've been doing
Yeah.
it for so many years, and
Yeah.
I had a great clientele. I was making well over 6 figures on
Wow.
my own, and I loved it. I loved being around all those people, and I started gaining a lot of weight and getting heavier. And the heavier I got, the worse it got on my joints. And pretty soon, I mean, I woke up one day, I could barely walk.
Yeah.
Um, and something happened to my skin. It started breaking. The doctor ended up giving me some antibiotics, and my whole entire body inflamed. It took me 2.5 weeks after one or two doses to get over it. I haven't taken antibiotics since. I'm highly allergic. hopefully I never, get strep throat again or anything like that.
Right.
But my doctor sat me down finally and said, I
Mm.
told you last year that you're going to have to, and she was
Yeah.
a friend. She was also my client, for many years
Yeah.
she was my client. And
Yeah.
she said, I told you, she goes, Cindy, I'm telling you right now, you're going to have to get an office job or do something else because this is not working. You're not going to be able to do hair anymore. One day you won't be able to get out of bed and you won't be able to walk. It'll be
Wow.
over.
That's scary.
And
That's scary
I
stuff,
just
man.
started, yeah. I'm like, what? Are you kidding me? So, at first I was like, there's no job that's going to pay me this. What I make it now. I mean, I had everything I wanted, and I never thought I'd never not do hair. I thought that was it. I mean, I did everything. I mentored people. I owned salons. I went from owning salons to just being on my own, which was nice.
Sure.
And, you know, I did so many things.
Yeah.
It was all about hair, it's what I loved. I loved doing
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And I ended up having to take a job as an insurance
Mm.
salesperson. So I sold auto and home insurance. And I got licensed like within the first month or whatever. I did not like it, not one bit.
How did
I
you know you
mean,
didn't like it? Because this is important, man. A lot of women settle for jobs. We settle for a lot of different things, but we settle for jobs. How did you know?
I was in the hair industry for so long, and people would sit in your chair and you would make them feel beautiful. And the feeling that you get from that is wonderful. It's like, oh my gosh, they're smiling, they come in, they sit down, all the everything in the world is worrying them and this is going on, and then
Yeah.
at the end they're laughing, they're smiling, they're loving their
Yes.
hair, and you're making
Yeah.
them feel good. When you
Yeah.
come into an insurance office to pay your bill, you have to tell people that their insurance rates have gone up because
Oh,
this and that. And it was during the time that we were having all the fires, so I'd have to call people and tell them that literally we could not insure them. They had to go through a third party. We could find insurance for them, but it was probably going to be 10 times more than what they had been
a
paying.
lot of negative stuff. Negative, negative, negative.
Everything was
Yeah.
negative. It was never
Yeah.
good. And people would yell at you, and then they'd be like, well, it's not really you. And I'm like, I know, I didn't make the rules. I'm just a messenger. And I hated it. I just didn't like it at all. And I also felt like it was a lot of sales, sales, sales. It was always
Right.
like my boss was always like, you got to get these people in here so and get them in front of me so I can, like, but these people don't want to be in front of you and they don't want to buy more insurance. It's not something that's tangible. It just didn't feel good at all. It wasn't helping people. I didn't feel like it was helping people. Yeah, you have to have it, but yeah,
Yeah.
at what
It was,
cost? So
it
for
went
me,
against your values too. It sounded like it really went against your values
it
of being
did.
helpful, of making people feel good.
I only lasted 7 months. And
Mhm.
then we decided to move to a wholly different state where my kids live. I live up in Portland, Oregon now. So, and this was in California. And I could have transferred my license and gotten a job there, but I also had a hair license up here. However,
Oh,
my body wasn't
yeah.
really, so we
Yeah.
moved here in 2019 in October. So
Okay.
I started to get out a little bit and meet some people, and I was in a network marketing company where I sold wine. And so I thought, well, I can like do some wine tastings and it's kind of fun
Yeah.
and all
Yeah.
that and get out and meet some people. And then so that was October. It took me a couple of months to get my house settled in. And in March, what happened? The
Oh,
world shut
oh,
down.
2020. Yes. Right. Right.
So I'm like,
Right.
just everybody thought, oh, it's going to be a couple weeks, right? That's what we thought back then.
We had no idea back then it was gonna last years, man. And
What's still
okay,
going
that's a
on?
whole, yeah.
So, so I sit there and I'm like, I can't sit here forever and just watch the tube. What? I'm not ready to retire. This is not my life. What am I gonna do? So I started looking at stuff. I mean, online, I was like on the computer playing around, and people are saying, well, you could do your network marketing business through this without, because I don't like rejection.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever been in a network marketing business. It's a lot of
I,
rejection. A lot of people say no, and
yeah.
you
It
know,
wasn't
it
for me.
doesn't
I
feel
tried.
good.
It wasn't for me.
Yeah, it kind of goes against what I would, I'd been,
Yeah.
people would come up to me and want me to do their hair and want me, and I could do it. I could do it in my sleep practically.
Yeah.
So, oh my gosh, I'm like, I don't want to force this down. I want people to want it. So, all these coaches promise that, you could do this and this and this without, it's like attraction marketing. That's what they called it.
Right. Right.
So, you know, a few months down the road, I was kind of playing around with it. And so I jumped on with a coach and kind of learned all about this. But I realized that my technical skills were really bad.
And you're not the only one, right?
I did not grow up with tech. Like, I'm a
Right.
boom. Okay, so being a boomer, you didn't grow up with tech. You
No.
didn't, I mean, we had the phones that had the,
I
brand new
remember that.
dial thing. Yeah. In fact, I remember having a party line and people are like, "What
Oh my
party
goodness.
line?" It was terrible. And the phones were
No.
all hooked to the walls, you didn't take them
Yeah.
with you. And yeah, it was a totally different life. I learned to type on a manual typewriter that literally was, like we're talking, they're
Yeah.
antiques. I mean, I think when you find them nowadays, it's like, what is that? And
Oh my God.
exactly. It was just a totally different world back then.
So
No
you weren't
cell
tech
phone.
savvy necessarily.
Oh, I was not. I really wanted to be, but I didn't understand the computer at all.
Right. Right. Right.
And I thought, "Ah, what am I going to do about this?" And, I felt like my brain was old. It had been geared toward learning more stuff about hair. I was pretty
Right.
technical with that because I was really good in science. I
Yeah.
loved all the chemicals and stuff like that. So I was very good in that. I was very good at, I mean, I could formulate hair color like no other. So that was my, expertise.
Yeah.
But on the computer, I'm like, no, I don't know how to do this. So I take this course from this coach,
Yeah.
and she starts to walk you through everything that you need to do to build your brand online and all this stuff. And I'm like, brand? What's a brand? I thought,
Yeah.
well, maybe I'll teach hairdressers, how to own salons and how to deal with clients and stuff like that, because I do see a lot of times that that is really lacking. The
Oh,
customer
for sure.
service is really
Yeah.
lacking.
Yeah.
And we had very good customer service. My salons had very good customer service. I always told the girls, customers first. They walk through the door. Do not ignore them. Okay. I mean,
Right.
seriously,
Yeah.
at least acknowledge, even if you're in a conversation with somebody else, at least acknowledge them, tell them,
Absolutely.
hey, I'll be right with you or something
That's
like
right.
that so that they know that you've seen them.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's neither here nor there, but I'm sitting in front of the computer and I'm like, I can't get this. And I remember one night, my grandson, he's 19 now, and he is a gamer. So he is on the computer 24/7. He's actually written programs and stuff. And when he was 12,
Yeah.
yeah. So the kid
They could
is,
do it at 3 now. Oh, I don't know if
I'm
they can do it
telling
at
you,
3 now.
I know it's true. So he gets it. He knows the computer. So I'm trying to edit a video, and they told me to download this program, and then you go through the editing. So I go through a YouTube channel, and I'm trying to watch the kid. Seriously, this kid looked like he was like 16 years old, telling me how to edit this video with this program, and I am like almost in tears because I'm supposed to have it done for some homework for the next day. I have
Oh,
no idea what I'm doing. I keep losing the video. I'm chopping this, chopping that. I can't figure out the tracks, and all this stuff is going on. I call my grandson up and I said, "Can you help me with this? I'm just going absolutely crazy." And he looks at me and he says, "Nana, sometimes you just gotta walk away."
oh, wow. I love that.
So I have never forgotten that. And I've told people that too. Sometimes you just have to walk away because then the next day you come back and you're like, oh, okay, I
Yeah.
get it. Because it
Got
was so frustrating. But after that, I said to myself, you know what? Quit trying to cut corners, quit trying to put too many demands on yourself, and just start step by step. So
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
I do now. I'm a social media manager.
Love it.
I have
Love it.
learned how to take people from where I was and step by step, walk them through how to brand themselves, how to show up on social media, because a lot of people are doing business out there online, because that's kind of the way the world is going, you know?
Yes.
And
Yeah.
I love it now. I understand it so much more. I can
Yeah.
take a tech tool, literally take a tech tool, get into the back office and figure it out within, I don't know, sometimes a
Wow. So
few
you've
minutes
learned
to an hour.
so much. And I'm sure that there are a lot of women, older women that are thinking of getting online, getting a business, and they have no clue really where to start. So you're perfect.
Exactly.
And you've gone through it, you know. Yeah.
Yes, I have gone through it. I mean, I have been through it, that's for sure. But one nice thing is that I was able to sit, yeah, I didn't have any other job. I was able to sit here every day and educate myself and get into some programs and really focus on learning. So that's not a lot of people who are starting online have another job.
You usually
So
do.
it's really difficult to get that little piece in there. That's why I like to walk people through. Now, I can set everything up for you, but what I
Really?
like
Oh,
to
you do
do,
that too? You can
I
do
do.
that too?
I do the
Oh,
done for
wow.
yous. Yeah.
That's cool. That's really, yeah, that's cool.
But what I like
Mhm.
to do is if I set it up for you, I like to show you how it
Well, there's
works
the
because
teaching, right? You were a mentor, man. Transferable skills.
exactly,
Love it.
exactly. So
So tell us more about that,
that
please.
is what keeps spurring me on to learn more and to help people more and to figure out what they need. There's no question that's a dumb question because literally I've been there. Like you're in a group and you want to ask a question, that feeling. You're in a group and you want to ask a question and you're like, I don't understand what they're talking about. Um, if I ask this question, am I going to look really stupid? Yeah. And there's no stupid question because I've been
No.
there. I have
Yeah.
been there and I
Yeah.
know the feeling. It's like a lost feeling. And once that starts happening, if you're trying to do a business online, it puts roadblocks on your
Right.
next move. It just
Right.
stops it right there. And then you can't move on because you're like, this is so frustrating. I don't even know if I want to do this anymore.
Yeah.
Well, what you have is probably what somebody needs. So don't stop.
Yeah.
Somebody needs your story. Somebody needs what you have to
Yeah.
offer.
So what do you think is the
So,
biggest obstacle? Is that one of the biggest obstacles, like the technology piece, or is it not knowing the message? What is the biggest obstacle you think that most women face when it comes to being online and
well, I think that technical is a big deal, but
yeah.
also one of the biggest things that I run into is people do not know who they are marketing to.
Oh,
And that is huge because they might be thinking that they're marketing to the right person, but they're not, and they're not succeeding. So that is something that recently too, I've really looked into. And if you don't, find that niche, that little market that there's a bazillion people on Facebook. Let's face
right,
it, like on Facebook and all the social medias.
right.
I think
Yeah,
Facebook is the largest and then YouTube. I mean, people are everywhere on social media and they're making money. They are, but they have
awesome.
figured out who they're marketing to and they take that and run with it. Once you figure that out, that is one of the key factors. Technology, you can hire out, but you got to figure out yourself who your target market is. Who needs to be in your world? Who needs what you have to offer?
Yeah.
That is huge.
And
And
is that
once you
something
figure
you
that out, the
bingo, right?
world opens up. Yeah.
Is that something that is that part of your service, helping someone figure that
Yes.
out?
Yes, absolutely. Part of my service. The other thing that I work on with people is building their audience. So once they figure out who their target market is, I show them how to build their audience. I mean, I also have the done for you. I do this for people sometimes.
Right, right.
I would rather you figure out yourself, though, and teach you how to do it because you're the one that's going to have the relationship with the client afterwards.
Yeah.
So it's great. to let me do it, but it's not moving you forward in your business. And I
Yeah.
find that the people that let me do it don't move quite as fast as the people who learn to do it.
Yeah. I want to give you an example because it's kind of related to that. I'm a coach, and recently I've been meeting with a woman for accountability.
Mm.
And of course, she's been working on her site, and she told me today that she found out that she wasn't, the message that she was given out wasn't exactly what she really wanted to give. She could tell by her body that when she was writing something or even expressing something, it wasn't really aligned, it wasn't really expanding her. Now she's having to change her website a bit. Okay, so here I'm going to kind of get into you. If you had done it all for her, she would not know what she needs to do now.
Exactly.
But if you would have taught her, for example, she had to figure all this stuff on her own, and that's what she's doing. But I like the fact that you're teaching women how to do certain things because, of course, like in my client's case, I'm not a marketing coach. I'm an accountability coach with her, but she's learned by trial and error. But I love what you're offering. So tell us a little bit how you do that. I mean, it's virtual. How do you do that, man? Come on.
Right.
Are they right
Well,
next to you?
exactly. So my first thing is I usually meet with people in a Zoom, and I'm not going to work with anybody that I can't see. And that's just one of my rules. I got to be able to see you because I need to get a feeling for who you are.
Okay.
Otherwise, it's going to be really difficult for me. It's just like trying to ask me a hair question without me even seeing your hair. There's no
Okay, I
way.
won't ask you a hair question. We won't go there. And I'm glad my camera's on, so we're good. Okay.
But if your camera was black and you asked me, "Well, I have thin hair. What can I do to?" Well, I can't even see your hair. How am I going to give you any kind of advice? So it's kind
Good
of the
point.
same thing.
Yeah.
I need to see you. And and I think it's good that you see me too, because not for everyone. I had a coach say that one time. You're right, I'm not for everyone. I'm like, that is such a good line. It's
It's true.
true. You're going to find your tribe because there are people that I've met that I've actually recommended someone else for them because I just felt I was a better fit.
Yeah.
And
Which is the bonus of networking and meeting with other marketing strategists or meeting with other coaches, like in my case, because it might not be a good match at all. But
right.
yet you might refer them to somebody else. This is how it works now, too. Anyways, please keep going. Okay.
Yes. So it is how it works and networking because then that person can refer as well because they're like, oh
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
So that's what I do is I take the first appointment and kind of get to know the person and then figure out what it is that they need first. And most of the time it's they've got all the parts, but they don't have it organized. So they
Mm.
don't really know what to do every day.
Oh,
So the first thing that I do is I tell them it takes a couple of weeks, takes me a couple of weeks because I got to get into your accounts and I got to, you know, start to
oh,
give you a list of what you need to do every day. I organize all your stuff. We figure out, we do a lead magnet if we need to. Then I make you a landing page and an email sequencing. And,
that's
if you don't even
wonderful.
have, some people don't even have an email autoresponder. So I set that up for them and show them how it works. And some people are like, I don't even want to know how it works. Just keep doing it.
Yeah.
Some people are like that. And other
Yeah, for
people are
sure.
like, if you can just show me I want to do it myself. And I love
Sure.
that because they're really they're going to
Yeah,
build faster. They're just going to
that's
build.
right. Right.
So,
Ah,
so that's what I do. And then I get back together with them and I say, okay, this is what we're going to do every single day. You need to spend 30 minutes on your business in the morning and 30 minutes at night, period. This is what you're going to do. And they can start to see the progress. And then, they can add more time because some of these people they have other jobs
yeah,
and they're trying to get this business up and running so that they can replace their job. How are they going to do that if they can't even organize the things
yeah,
to make the business run? And
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so
Wow,
that's
you're
what I do.
hands-on. You're really hands-on. and yet you're mentoring them, you're helping them learn how to, because at some point they'll probably want to do it themselves or have to do it themselves in some cases, right?
Exactly. Or they'll be able to spend more time with their business so they
Yeah,
can do it by themselves.
yeah,
No, I mean, if you think about it, and you're moving along with the business, and say you have something that you're giving away for free, which is called the lead magnet. Um, well, you 6 months, sent the same thing out. You might want to change that.
mhm,
Well, you could certainly hire somebody else to do that for you, but if you know how to do it already, you could just whip that out in no time for
yeah,
yourself. And it's such a feeling of accomplishment. That's the way
yeah,
I feel about it.
yeah,
But then again, there are people that are like, I don't want to deal with that part, just
yeah,
I just want to hire somebody else to do that. That's fine.
yeah. That's a great service. At least you've got options, and they can then decide, depending on their personality and all that, what works better for them, right?
Yes.
Is there
And
something in terms of marketing that you don't necessarily do that you do refer out? I'm just curious.
yeah, I don't do Facebook ads.
Okay.
I'm not proficient on Facebook ads yet,
Mhm.
because I have not done one myself. And then if I haven't really done it myself,
I
you
get
know,
you. Yeah.
I'm not really gonna try to sell it for myself because it's quite extensive to set up to make it
Yeah.
optimal. And I don't want people wasting their money. That's the other thing, is I try to do as much stuff for free and very low paid versions of these tech tools so
Yeah.
that people aren't spending a ton of money, because I find that they do that. They grab this because they think it's going to help them, and they're paying for it monthly and they have never used it.
Right.
Well, let's figure out if you actually need it, or if we can wait a little bit. You can get rid of it for now. We can wait a little bit and then go back to it when you do need it.
Right. So are you, in a sense, a consultant too? Because it sounds like
Yes.
there's a bit of consulting there, which is so, I was going to say so freaking important. Oh, I've said it. So important when it comes to somebody who's, fairly new in the
Right.
business,
So
you know?
I guess it would be like a strategist. I
Right.
kind of
Okay. Cool. Yeah.
customize their strategy for their market, for what they need. Because
Yeah.
I've worked with artists that have like art studios. In fact, I worked with one person that actually had a brick and mortar. Well, I had brick and mortar for years.
Okay.
And so
So
I
hang
know
on.
about that
Okay.
business.
Let's talk
Yeah.
more about that because you're offering services online through Zoom,
Uh-huh.
okay? But now you're saying you've got one that's a brick and mortar place?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay,
So,
okay,
but she is on social too, because that is a
okay.
key point with brick and mortars, because you can market to your whole audience that's around where you live. You just got to join those groups and different places in the marketplace where you live, around where you live, so that they
Yeah,
know who you are and what you're doing, because people are on
yeah.
social media all the time. And how about visitors that come into the town? If you're not on
Well,
social media, if you don't have like it's a restaurant, so if you don't have your menu up, if you don't have all this stuff up, they're not going to know where you are.
yeah. No,
So,
no, it's true because I think that brick and mortar, especially after the pandemic, some of them realize, well, they have to have some type of presence online,
mhm,
some type of presence, and most of them probably have no clue how to,
right.
didn't know how to do that. So, wow. So is that an area that you're going into as well, or is that something that depends on if,
Somebody reached out to me and asked me
right,
if I
right.
could help them. So, it's not something that I market to regularly, because I do everything online, but I had a brick and mortar for almost 40 years. So
Yeah,
I know
yeah,
a little bit about marketing to the locals for sure.
absolutely. And you've made the bridge. You've went from being a hairstylist in a brick and mortar to now doing online marketing in that sense.
Yes.
And what a nice bridge that is. Hmm, very
So
interesting.
one of the things that had come up early on was imposter syndrome. I know that a lot of
Okay.
people know about
uh,
that, you
Yeah.
know,
Tell us what
and
that is. Like I know what it is, but maybe
imposter
people,
syndrome.
what is that?
It's just where you think that you are. trying to teach somebody something and you don't know enough about it yourself. So
Right,
you're an imposter.
right,
You're not that, tech guru up in the sky that's, the all-encompassing tech
right.
person that knows everything.
Like,
You
who am
just
I, right? Who am I to teach that? I don't know anything about this. Like, and
I didn't
then,
spend my whole career doing this.
right. So did
So
that happen initially? Like, did it?
oh, it's happened still. It
Oh, I
happens still. It's
see.
something that you have to overcome all the time. Because if
Right,
somebody gives you a negative comment or, it all of a sudden it sets in again, and you have to
right,
learn to kind of overcome that. Get a
right.
thicker skin. If you're
Yeah,
out there in social media, I'm out in the public every day. I mean, I'm constantly on socials and I'm expanding my channels, so I'm on all of them now. So it's it's a lot, and people can attack you. They can say mean, nasty
absolutely.
things, and then you start second guessing yourself. Well, maybe I'm really not that good. Maybe no,
I'll give you an
don't do that.
example. I want to bring this up because I
Yeah,
remember last year, I have a YouTube channel. We're going to be on YouTube. And last year, I was talking about I know it's not relevant to marketing at all, but I was talking about a breakup. And I said that I was, that the person had, and I used a different word. Okay. I used a different word. Somebody said, "You mean he ghosted you?" Okay, I used a completely different word. I didn't
right.
even know ghosted. And so that came up and I'm going ghosted. Oh, I guess I should have used the word ghosted instead. But it was a negative connotation, meaning you should know better. You're online, you should know this word and instead of
Right.
he rogued me. That's what I said. He rogued me. Not even the right word at all. Anyways,
Well,
to your point, right? To your to your
exactly.
point, we're going to get criticized at one point. So what do you do in that case? What do you personally do in that case? Because it's going to happen to anybody
It's
you
gonna
work with.
happen, and
Yeah,
you can let it stop you. You can let it, sink in and fester. You know how we do make a mountain out of a molehill.
yeah,
Some little comment that somebody makes it should not ruin your world. Besides the fact that it's usually all about them, not you. It's about them. And if you think about it, if you really read into the comment, it doesn't have anything to do with you. They're jealous of who you think you are,
right.
and they're jealous because they didn't take the step to go forward to, be what you are. So, you know what? This is what I say. There's a block that you can do. You just go up to the three dots in their little friends in their
Yeah,
little profile if they're on Facebook, and you click block, and they're never in your world again.
right.
So if that person made you feel like you were less than, block them, unfriend them, and follow them. Do whatever you need to do to get them out of your world, because it's not worth it.
No, it's
It's
not
not
worth it.
worth letting that
No,
fester. And the other thing that I see that people do a lot of times is they try to justify their position when somebody is negative to them.
right.
Well, I say don't do that, because then you relive it on a daily, because people are
Yeah,
going to
I'm
comment, and
such a
then people are
loser.
going to comment on their
Right,
comments, and
right, right.
pretty soon it's going to be this whole political thing,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
it's not worth it. It's not worth
yeah,
reliving. It made you feel
yeah,
bad in the first place, so now you're going to relive it over and over again just because you want to justify your position.
yeah.
So I just ignore and block, literally.
Yeah.
It
And
has
on
helped so
Facebook,
much.
you can delete the comment on Facebook,
Absolutely.
you know.
Yep. If you put that post out there, you can delete all the comments on the
Uh,
post if you want to.
Exactly. Yeah.
Post. I mean, there's been times that I've deleted the post because it had too many negative comments. And I'm like,
That's right.
I don't need
So,
this.
and I think that's the beauty about like the work that you do and the suggestions that you're offering people is that guess what? At the end of the day, it's their business, right? It's the individual's business, and they can decide. And I think with your help, they can actually start feeling more and more confident
exactly,
build up that confidence to delete, for example, or
exactly.
block.
Well, and even, in the hairdressing profession, and I remembered this from being in hairdressing, there's only about four people in my whole entire career, and I worked behind the chair for almost 4 decades, uh, that I actually deleted. And I got to the point where the first one, was kind of, it was not a great scene. But the last person that I deleted from my list was somebody that I actually sent an email to and said, I'm sorry to give it to you this way, but I wanted to get everything out that I needed to say to you. And I'm sorry, but I'm not going to be able to reschedule you in my book because of these reasons. And she came back and she was gonna sue me and get a lawyer. And I'm like, for what? I just don't want you in my life anymore
That's
because you're
simple.
so
Yeah.
negative. And
Yeah.
I didn't tell her she was negative. I just said, I don't think we're a good fit. I don't think
Yeah.
we ever were. Um, and I need to spend my days self-care,
Yeah. You
self-love.
were, yeah, setting a boundary. That's pure self-care, self-love. Yeah. Perfect.
And so
Yeah.
I deleted her. Well, then she tried to get on my socials and do some stuff. And so I had to block her. And
Yeah.
then she ended up getting into my socials again through another client. Just like, lady, I don't want to do your hair. That's all. I just don't want to do your hair. That's it. You know, so it's
Got
much
it.
easier to delete somebody online than somebody that's in your own neighborhood because you're
Yeah.
eventually probably going to see them at some point.
Yeah.
So the online people, though, you block them out of your life, you never have to see them again. You know, they're out in cyberspace somewhere. Good for them.
That's right. All right. Listen, we are near the end of our great chat. How can people find out more about you?
Well, you can follow me on Facebook. That's my biggest platform right now. I also have a YouTube channel, Cindy Strong on Facebook. It's Cindy Strong on YouTube, but it's Cindeestrong. But I think that if you type Cindy Strong, you will see me. I have a pink beret and pink hair. You can't miss it.
Okay.
That's who I am. So my
I've
YouTube
checked it
channel,
out. You've got
yeah,
some good stuff. And I'm going to add the link, of course, to your YouTube channel
yeah.
and your Facebook,
It's
Facebook
bright.
page.
It's very cheery channel, and a lot of the content is pretty funny. So you enjoy those videos for
Well,
sure.
thank you. Thank you so much for spending time with me and with whoever's going to be viewing this. I really appreciate it. Any final words before we call it a day?
Well, I want to say that it was super exciting for me to be able to meet Linda because we would never have met had it not been for online. And it was through another mutual friend that I met
Yeah,
online that
yeah,
said, you guys need to meet.
yeah.
And it's been great. It's like we've known each other forever. You're right.
I know.
So
I feel that way too. Thank you. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
thank
Take
you.
care.
Bye.
Bye.